Howdy everybody, ArgonMatrix here, welcoming you back to Celeste. We've been away from the mountain for a little while, but I did promise a couple of bonus videos, or at least one bonus video here, so I have come to deliver. And that is involving this option on the menu here called PICO-8. I'm actually not going to use this option, but this is another way to access what I'm going to show. But basically, what this is, I'll show you where it can be found, like in the main game here. I showed it in my Let's Play too, but if you head over here to the third chapter, because this is the prologue, so the Celestial Resort. If you've already beaten it, then you can choose which part to start with, and I would recommend starting with Huge Mess in order to start as close as possible to where you need to be. Just gonna go ahead and skip this cutscene real quick. Not that I don't like Mr. Oshiro, but he's not what we're here for right now. Just gotta navigate this thing, and basically what this is a game within the game. You'll see when there was a little brief preview of it during the Let's Play, but this is going to be a more comprehensive overview, and it's actually fairly short. So what you want to do is head over this side, and you head through here into this place into this room where there's the letter to the staff and stuff sort of left over there, and we're going to go ahead and climb up here into this somewhat obvious secret passage. And this is where you find PICO-8 within the game itself. So you hit this, and it'll boot up this old-ass Apple II, well, really, PICO-8 computer. Because what PICO-8 is, in like reality, what PICO-8 is a virtual machine, like a virtual console designed for creating fantasy games. From the little bit of research that I did anyway. I don't have a comprehensive overview of it. I just kind of looked up real quick. And so what this here is, to the best of my comprehension, is more or less a Celeste prototype, or like what Celeste was in development for a brief while before it became the game that we all know and cherish to this day. So yeah, this is more or less like a beta retro version. Kind of consider it like maybe what Celeste would be like if it had been released on the NES or something. And it's really, I mean, it obviously shows, right, just in the graphic style alone. It's charming and cute in its own way. But it's very much a like simplified version of what Celeste is. So in this, the controls are relatively the same as the main game. You can't cling onto walls, like I'm holding the button here and just not clinging. You can dash in 8 directions as per usual, and there are berries. I believe there are 18 total throughout PICO-8 here. And you just sort of climb the mountain to different elevations. You can see we're at 200 meters now, and we just progress on here. And it's just a very interesting little showcase. It doesn't start out too hard. It gets pretty hard towards the end of it. Not quite as hard as like the hardest parts of the main game, I would say, for sure. But hard enough to throw you for a bit of a loop for a little bit. I actually did a practice run just before I started recording this. And you can sort of see like elements of the main game that were carried over from this prototype. You can see, like, that was a dashless berry, and this layout here is very similar to one of the dashless berries in the very first chapter, the Forsaken City, so it's pretty cool to see that. There's also elements that aren't carried over into the main game, such as this. There's never really any, I mean, there are keys, but there's no, like, chests, really, that unlock, that's at least as far as I can remember. But basically what you want to do here, I think, is, like, oh, not quite like that, oh. I'm not going to have a deathless run of this, don't you worry, we'll see that coming, but I don't want my first death to be something that simple. Yeah, I don't remember any berries being locked behind keys like that. Well, I just flubbed that one up, didn't I? Yeah, but it's a pretty just like simplified version, just something neat to show off. There are these balloons which serve as basically the same purpose as the green gems, the emeralds in the main game. It just renews your dash in midair. There's another dashless berry. We got these clouds here. They don't provide the same little bounce as the ones in the main game. I keep saying like main game, and I mean, I guess this really isn't the main game, but it is part of the game all the same. So what we want to do here is we want to just like get a little wall jump to get up here and do a little dash there, just because it would have run away, but we were close enough that it didn't have really time to. Is the thing there. I'm gonna do my damnedest to get all the berries in this one. Sometimes I like forget that they're there. Like that one, for instance, I almost just kind of sailed cleanly past, and if I hadn't been talking about the berries, I might have honestly forgotten about that. Which is kind of embarrassing, just because, like I said, I just finished practicing this, and I did get all 18 berries. There's also this, where like you can't actually wall jump off the side of the screen here, But because the area where you're wall jumping is so narrow, you can kind of scale the wall. It's almost like similar to how the wind works in the game, where if the wind is going strongest, you can scale one wall without having a second wall to bounce off of. I'll be a little bit quick on the draw here to get up to this cloud in time. Let me just do one of those, and we messed it up. But that's okay, because... oh, never mind. I thought I would have a second shot there, and really I should have, but just didn't time it quite right. It's alright, we're still not at like the... like, this gets pretty damnably hard, and this is the old site, so this is what will be chapter 2. And we're not going to end up going through like all the different chapter layouts. It's not like really that... it's not that complete of a game, I guess I should say. Also, the music is pretty rad, I gotta say. Oh, I keep thinking that, like... as silly as it might sound, I keep thinking that I have a double dash, because later on... spoiler alert, but later on in PICO-8 here, you do get a double dash. Not until near the very end, but still. There we go, I think we're clear there. I mean, I should know that I'm clear because I already got the berry, so that's the thing, is that in this version of Celeste, you don't have to really worry about, like, making sure that things are cleared out to the best of their ability, because there's not going to be a lot of secrets. There's no crystal hearts, there's no B-side tapes to worry about, only one berry per screen, and it's usually relatively obvious where that berry is. This one's a little bit finagly to get, because you don't want to go off the top of the screen by accident, but we got it there. Oh, messed that one up a little bit. So we want to actually hit the key and then dash over here. Easy as pie. I'm making it look probably a lot easier than it really should. And even then I'm dying quite a bit all the same. But that's, like I said, just because I practiced this, I didn't want to look like a total doof doing this. I think there's a berry right here, by the way. It's relatively easy to forget about that one, because it's just kind of there. Hardly even have to do anything to get that. This one's a little bit interesting, because you gotta, like, dash before you get to the height of your jump, and otherwise you're gonna hit the spiked ceilings. Yeah, but like I was saying, I think in the practice run I did of this, it took me about 21 minutes to get through the full thing. Which I'm 5 minutes in and I'm already here, so I think I'm doing alright. This one, I think there's a way to actually, there's like a way to speed run this or something, but we're just gonna take the long way around, take the proper path, the intended path, I suppose. If you're quick on this, you can actually get the first cloud and not have to wait for the second cycle like I did the first time there. There we go. This one's just a simple little wall jump section, very Super Meat Boy-esque, honestly. Sweet. That really is what this reminds me more of, like, even more so than the main game, because the main game has its own, like, sense of charm and personality, I suppose, whereas this feels much more reminiscent of something like Super Meat Boy, or even a little bit of I Want to Be the Guy, if anyone remembers that. Of course, not nearly as, like, unfair as I Want to Be the Guy, and not nearly as tightly controlled as Super Meat Boy. But that's all forgiven because the main game is very tightly controlled, much like Super Meat Boy. All right, and I believe, yeah, 2,200 meters here. This is where we get our second dash. We're not going to get our pink hair. We actually get this, like, glowing radioactive hair, which is pretty rad. Almost makes you wonder what it would have looked like in the main game if they kept the style. All right, I messed that one up. Yeah, I think you got to actually use both dashes, because another interesting thing they didn't carry over to the main game is that when you collect a strawberry, your dash does renew. Your double dash doesn't. You can see I only got one dash back there, but that's an interesting mechanic. I can see why they got rid of it, because it could have been probably abused in ways that they didn't intend necessarily. All right, I think what I'm doing here is something like this. Nope, not quite. I can never remember this one for some reason. It's like something like that. Oh, I mean, that is it, but I just have to perform it a little bit better like that. There you go. Easy enough. This one's like strangely easy for how high up it is. We're at 2,500 meters. I think the summit is actually 3,000 meters, I want to say, so we're getting pretty close there. I gotta do a double dash through here. I remember this one took me a while, my very first time I did PICO-8. It's actually not as bad as it might seem at first. You do have to, because when you hit that spring there, this one above my head here, you have to dash down real fast, otherwise it's going to bounce you right back up into the spikes, so just be wary of that, and you should be fine. This one actually threw me for a loop the first little bit, and even on my practice run that I just did. Basically what you want to do here is you want to actually dash up here. I kept trying to go for the key from like the very beginning section there, but it's really better to do it from here. You go like that, and you actually, well, ideally want to hit that little wall there. Yeah, this is where it really starts to ramp up in difficulty, I would say, though. And you bounce up here, upsy daisy, and we're good. Okay. All right, yeah, 2,700 meters, so just a few more screens. Pretty much going to be done here. Like I said, there's not a whole lot to this, but what there is, it's like a nice little interesting time capsule almost. Seeing what they did and did not bring to the main game from this initial concept. And I don't fully know if this is like the initial concept, like this was going to be how the whole game was in like at the end of the day. There we go. I just had to go radio silence for a minute there. I don't know the full like story of that. That berry like there up there looks a little bit daunting to get maybe, but all you have to do is kind of hug the left wall here and then just double dash up and you're good to go. Don't even have to worry about it. In theory, you could actually like use the dash you get back from that berry in order to sort of sequence break this a little bit, I think, but you only get one shot at that because the berry does not respawn, not even like a ghostly form of it as in the main game. Oh, come on. Aw, man. That really should have been the one. That's all right. We're just going to keep bonking our head against the spikes, and there we go. All right, we're up. Oh, yeah, this freaking one. This might be... Oh, hold on. Is this the last one? This is 3,000 meters. Okay, so I was going to say, because I remember spending a long time on this one in my practice run just now. And I've almost made it there actually twice. This just goes to show how good the practice run can be sometimes for this. Gotta just delay yourself a little bit there, give it the balloon time to respawn. Honestly, a little part of me wishes that they had kept the balloon design for the things to renew the dash instead of changing it to the green gems. I mean, I'll take it either way. It's just a neat concept in general. Like, and opens up a lot of possibilities gameplay-wise, obviously, for renewing your dash in midair. Screwed that one up a little bit. And I can see why they changed it from the balloons, because it would have been like... It might have been a little jarring, I guess, but... And the green gems kind of play to the whole mysticism theme of like the mountain and like what's this weird power about the mountain. It's kind of interesting that way. Whereas balloons would have been a little more mundane and silly, but sometimes silly is alright. It is a very silly game at the end of the day, in some respects. Alright, I was so close to getting this like on my first couple of attempts, and now I'm just botching it. It's beginner's luck for you, I guess. In some capacity, well, beginner's luck. I've completed all this friggin' seaside in this game. I ain't no beginner. I would hope not, anyway. Not at this point. There are very few things in the game that I have not managed to complete. Alright. I'm feeling it, this one, dude. Oh, never mind. I shouldn't have spoken so soon, I guess. Alright, I'm not feeling it in this one. Well, there you go. Just prophesized your own doom, I guess. I just can't win. No matter what way I do this. Alright. For real, though. I'm not gonna make this the same... Like I said, my practice run took 20 minutes. I'm not about to take 20 minutes on this one, too, am I? Should hope not, because that means I'd be stuck on this friggin' level for 10 minutes. If that was the case, you can be sure I'd probably cut that out. Oh, gosh. Those last couple dashes there are so tough. Like, just to get the right spacing and the right height and everything is a little bit finagly, but I mean, it makes sense for the last sort of jump in the game, but that is it. I think that was all the strawberries. We should have 18 total here. Yup. 12, 17, 63 deaths. Could have done a little better than that, but away we go. Nah, there's nothing else beyond this. You just kind of hang it on the summit for as long as you want. Reveling in your victory. But yeah, that's for the long and short of it, that's PICO-8. Oh, I like this, how the flag kind of blends into the hair a little bit. That's pretty nifty. And then, yeah, you can just exit PICO-8. And you'll either be booted back to the menu or back to here, depending on where you actually accessed it from. And that is really about it. Just a neat little bonus game, a little bonus Easter egg for explorer types to complete. I think there is an achievement tied to it too, so there's that. And that's really about it. So really the only thing left for Celeste, as far as I know, there's one little achievement, and then that I could show off, and then all the golden strawberries as well. So I'm still not entirely sure what I want to do necessarily for those golden strawberries, whether I want to like stream it or do it in some sort of weird video format. We'll figure it out. I still have to, like, as you can see, I managed to get 4 of them in my other file here, which is better than I thought I'd be doing, but still a long way from the, like, how many is it? I think it's like 19 total, because there's 18, like one for each level, and then one sort of extra special golden strawberry, which cross that bridge when we come to it. It's one of the ones I did get, actually, so I digress. Hope you guys enjoyed this little dip back into Celeste, and I will see you when I see you. This is ArgonMatrix signing out. Thank you and good night.